What's the most harmful thing that humans have ever created for millions of people around the world? It's not war or poverty or any other answer you might have expected. This invisible, odorless, tasteless killer is responsible for 1 in 8 deaths worldwide, claiming for 0.2 million lives every single year. That works out to be more than 11,000 deaths per day. And air pollution isn't even getting into the lungs and bloodstream through needles or bullets. It's getting in through our mouths and noses when we breathe. I am, of course, talking about air pollution. The stuff that comes out of factories, power plants, and car exhaust pipes. And you might think, well, we know that air pollution is bad for us. We know that breathing it in can cause asthma, lung cancer, strokes, and heart disease. But those are all things that happen over a long period of time. Surely we're not dropping dead from breathing in a bit of smog, are we? Well, yes, it turns out we are. Air may look clean, but it's not. Tiny, invisible particles are entering your body with every breath, and your brain is one of the biggest victims. A 2021 study found that exposure to even short, low levels of outdoor air pollution increases the risk of a heart attack by 20%. And studies have shown that children are especially vulnerable with air pollution, increasing the risk of them developing asthma by 30%. But there's good news. There are things that you can do to protect yourself and your family from the dangers of air pollution. Air pollution enters through your lungs, but some of these particles travel even further. They pass into your blood, move through the blood-brain barrier, and settle in your brain tissue. Inside the brain, these particles cause inflammation and oxidative stress. They damage neurons. They shrink memory centers like the hippocampus. They reduce white matter, slow down thinking, and may even raise the risk of Alzheimer's and depression. Air pollution may be one of the most modifiable risk factors for Alzheimer's disease. Let's look at how air pollution actually gets into our bodies. As I mentioned earlier, it's odorless and tasteless, so it's not like you can detect it with your senses. The main sources of indoor air pollution are the burning of fuels such as wood, coal, and natural gas. This can happen through cooking, heating, or lighting. And the biggest culprits are wood-burning stoves used for cooking in areas such as South Asia and Africa, and coal-burning boilers used for heating in places like China and Eastern Europe. Pollution doesn't just affect the mind. It harms the entire body, triggering asthma, heart disease, and high blood pressure. Children exposed to pollution may experience slower brain development, and adults face a higher risk of mental illness, stroke, and dementia. Now, if you live in an urban area, then the air outside might be polluted too. In fact, 90% of the world's population breathes in air that exceeds the limits set by the World Health Organization. And while you might think, oh, I live in the countryside, I don't have to worry about it. If you live anywhere near a road or an airport, then you're likely breathing in lots of exhaust fumes. A 2021 study found that even living 500 meters from a busy road can increase your risk of a stroke by 12%. Well, the first major threat is particulate matter, otherwise known as particulates, which are tiny solid particles or liquid droplets suspended in the air. These particles are so small, less than 2.5 micrometers in diameter, that they're known as PM2.5 to distinguish them from larger particulate matter. What makes them especially dangerous is their ability to penetrate deep into our lungs and even enter our bloodstream. Once inside the body, they can trigger inflammation, which leads to respiratory problems like asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, as well as cardiovascular diseases such as hypertension and coronary heart disease. Exposure to high levels of PM2.5 can even lead to premature death. Next is carbon monoxide, a colorless, odorless gas that's produced by the incomplete burning of fuels such as wood, coal and natural gas. When inhaled, carbon monoxide binds to the hemoglobin in our red blood cells, reducing their ability to transport oxygen throughout the body. This can lead to headaches, nausea, dizziness, and in extreme cases, death. Then there's sulfur dioxide, a colorless gas with a strong odor that's produced by burning fossil fuels and industrial processes. Inhaling sulfur dioxide can cause irritation to the lungs, leading to coughing, wheezing, and shortness of breath. It can also contribute to the formation of acid rain, which damages forests, lakes, and streams. And finally, we have nitrogen dioxide, another harmful gas produced by burning fossil fuels. Nitrogen dioxide is responsible for the reddish-brown haze that often hangs over cities. It too can irritate the lungs and make breathing difficult, especially for children, the elderly, and those with respiratory problems. And yet, air pollution is invisible, silent, and too often ignored. But knowledge is power. Protect yourself. Avoid outdoor activity during smoggy days. Wear a mask in polluted areas like N95 or FFP2 masks. Use indoor air filters when possible. Support clean energy and green policies. Now, let's talk about best foods to protect against air pollution damage. 1. Leafy greens. 2. Berries and colorful fruits. 3. Fatty fish. 4. Garlic and turmeric. 5. Nuts and seeds. 6. Drink water plus herbal teas. Finally, we need to hold industries and governments accountable for their role in polluting our air. Companies that release pollutants into the air should be held liable for the damage they cause. Governments should also do more to regulate air pollution and protect public health. This includes setting strict limits on emissions and investing in clean energy technologies. Air pollution is not just about lungs. It's about who we are, how we think, how we learn, and how long we live. Now I want to hear from you. What's the most surprising thing you learned from this video? If you enjoyed it, please share it with others. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Subscribe to Welcome Scientists to explore more science that matters.